I'm really stoked to show you my new sonic extension, Seismic Shock. This entire title is all about huge and powerful sounds. As an electronic music producer, I've always been obsessed with the art and science of making tracks that have a massive impact in clubs and festivals. You probably already know how great Omnisphere is for all kinds of music, but not everyone knows just how amazing it is for EDM and trap production. While I was creating Seismic Shock, I had a blast seeing just how far I could push Omnisphere. At the end of this demo, we're going to get into the brand new, totally exclusive effects that we've designed for Seismic Shock. These two new effects came out super sick. They're like secret weapons for sound design. With nearly 2,000 sounds, there's no possible way I could cover everything in this demo, so this is really just a preview of what you'll find. Okay, here we go. This first patch is a great example of Seismic Shock as a concept. This is a pad, but it's a seismic pad. As you can see here, each patch in Seismic Shock has its own unique layout of custom controls, which are individually designed for really interesting and sonically powerful results. Let's see what they do in this patch. Let's change the melt control. Let's turn up the rate. Let's try the grit control. And add some verb. So as you can hear, you can get a ton of different sounds out of these controls. Another awesome feature in sonic extensions is scenes. You can think of them as snapshots for the custom controls. And of course, it's really cool that I can use the arrow keys too. Let's hear the scenes on this patch. So as you can hear, scenes give you a lot of different sounds in one patch. On this next patch, let me show you kind of a cool performance trick. It's actually really easy to learn the scenes to these pads. And so now you can use this for like live sets. It's really cool. Check it out. So again, all of that is coming from one patch. And now let's check out some of the arpeggiated patches. This is like a really fun pop one. And let's see what scene 2 sounds like. Let's get into some of the more aggressive bass sounds. Check this one out. I'm going to play it with some drums. Okay, so this sound was actually made using the new DSP wavetables that come with Seismic Shock. Remember that we can look at the Omnisphere interface just by clicking this custom controls button, and now we can see all of the new Seismic wavetables. Now these are really aggressive and they're totally different from what's in Omnisphere. They're great to use in your own sound design. Okay, now I want to turn things over to Cedric, a good friend of Spectrasonics who's been a customer for a long time. He's an amazing producer and he's going to show you what he's been doing with Seismic Shock.
Thanks, Seth. What's good, everyone? I've been having a lot of fun checking out what Seismic Shock can do and making some beats with it. It's really versatile for a lot of different styles, so I'm going to show you a couple of things I've been working on. First up, let's check out an incredible trick I found for bass. I found this really dope patch called Egg Bass, and it has a big reverb on it. Let's hear it with my drums. This pump section here is available on every patch found in Seismic Shock, and it's pretty crazy what it can do. I'm going to try putting it on the bass to tame the reverb and make it pump with the drums. I'm also going to change the rate from a quarter note to a whole note. Now let's add a flute hook. This patch has a nice chippy flute that works well for a trap melody. And it's also got an interesting module setup that gives an alternate version of the sound that's kind of clipped. So we can alternate the melody between chipped and clipped. And let's do the same pumping effect and change the rate to a whole note. Let's hear the whole thing now with all the working parts. I really like that pump feature, and adding it to the bass line and the melody really adds a cool call and answer effect. But something that shouldn't be underestimated is how great these patches sound without any modification at all. Finding the right patch can either inspire or keep the inspiration going. Let's check out this next beat. I found yet another really cool bass called Bro Bumper. The mod wheel is already set up to do some pretty interesting stuff. I love that bass line. Let's add some church chords. Lastly, I added this really cool lead that gives me a West Coast feel. Now, as someone that's not as into doing sound design but loves to produce, I found that the custom controls were not intimidating whatsoever. You can get great results really fast, so you don't have to lose inspiration. For example, this pad started off with the first scene, which is super wet. The second scene is drier and closer to what I wanted. Then I tweaked a few of these controls and got exactly what I needed. Let's hear it with Seismic Bass and my drums. Although Seismic Shock has some really aggressive and epic sounds, it can still be used to make pop and R&B tracks. Check out this patch called Charred Popcorn, which responds really well to the dynamics. Now this patch was originally intended for single lines like, but I discovered it works really well with chords too. Let's hear how it sounds with Seismic Bass and a few other patches. Now to all my fellow trap and hip hop producers looking for that ultimate 808, you can find that with this patch called 808 Woofer Warfare. The patch I'm using for the chords is straight fire. This is what it sounds like. Now I made a few adjustments using the custom controls. I turned up the Verb, turned up the Zing, which gives that glide up effect, turned on Pump, and changed the rate to a half note. Now this patch sounds like this. Yeah. Lastly, I added some bells and turned on the Pump with the same half note. Once we add all the elements together with my drums, this is what we got. That was a lot of fun. I'm gonna throw it back over to Seth.
That was awesome, Cedric. Thanks so much. Okay, so this next sound is the most extreme thing I've ever recorded. I actually went to NASA and recorded where they test spacecraft using sounds that are so loud that the intensity can literally rupture a human's internal organs. So, are you ready to have your guts exploded? Strap in. See, I told you I was obsessed with this stuff. I go into a lot more detail about this crazy sound in the behind the scenes video, so be sure to check that out. All right, let's move on and try a classic 2009 Dubstep Wobble and see where we can take it. This one has a really cool mod wheel thing going on too. And we can take it to a whole other level with custom controls and scenes. Okay, so obviously not your everyday wobble. Some of these custom controls have a really dramatic effect. Check out how much range the controls have on this bombastic lead patch. So again, the custom controls are doing a ton of stuff under the hood in Omnisphere. Check out what the grunge knob does on this bass patch. It's always worth playing with the mod wheel in Seismic Shock because sometimes there are some really wild and elaborate things happening, like this. Yeah, so it's not exactly vibrato every time. Okay. Everyone loves arpeggiated patches, but let's look at some of the ways they can be customized in Seismic Shock. So I'm going to change the variation knob. And I can turn off pump. And I can turn on the effects. I can tweak that arpeggiator pattern even more if I want. Again, I can easily get into the edit page by clicking the custom controls button, and now I'm in the arpeggiator tab where I can edit the pattern however I want. Here's a totally different kind of sound. This is like an interesting kind of lead with a unique reverb. Did you notice the animated reverb? That's coming from another one of the new effects we'll be talking about soon. Okay, Metal Sleet Stabber. I love this one because you can play it like a punchy bass sound. Or if you hold a note and use the mod wheel, you get this cool rhythmic effect. And the scenes take this sound in all kinds of cool directions. Okay, not for the faint of heart. All right, moving on. Transition effects are an important part of electronic music production, and Seismic Shock has plenty of them. Here's a unique one with more of a futuristic vibe. Sonic Kettlebell is awesome because it combines a sub-bass hit with a synth stab, and it just sounds huge. The Electro Stampede patch is a great example of the havoc you can wreak with Omnisphere's powerful mod envelopes. Check this out. I'm going to add some intensity. Turn up the spread. Now let's check out the envelope that's doing all this stuff. And now that we're on the envelope editor, we can do all kinds of powerful things, like add chaos and tons of other stuff. And to close things out on the sounds, I want to go fully operatic and leave you with Seismic of the Opera. And there you have it, just some of the sounds in Seismic Shock. And finally, let's get into the exclusive new effects. These are a huge part of the sound of Seismic Shock, but you can also use them anywhere in Omnisphere, even on your own imported user audio. First up is Seismic Pump. This is a powerful sidechaining effect that goes way beyond just a simple volume control, with all kinds of creative shapes and timbral shifts. Let's see what it can do on some vocal pads. Let's turn it on and add a kick. And let's change the shape. Try a different shape. And let's go faster. And without it. Now let's try adding Seismic Pump to a simple noise rhythm and see what it does. Turn it on. And some more. And dry. So that's really cool. You can hear there's all of this extra like timbral stuff going on. Next, here's an example of how it can add a lot of movement and character to synth chords. Let's turn it on. Add some more. And change the shape. And without it. With Seismic Pump, it's really easy to turn even basic white noise into all kinds of different effects. Check this out. Turn it on. And change the shape. Add some breakup. And without it. So that's just scratching the surface of Seismic Pump. There's so much more you can do with it. Up next, we've got Seismic Verb. This isn't your average reverb. It combines unique algorithms with crazy compression techniques for extreme, huge sounding effects. It's also the first reverb ever to have an animate feature. Let's try it out on a basic pluck sound. Turn it on. Modulation. And animate. And faster. And dry. Let's check out Seismic Verb on a kalimba. Okay, let's turn it on. And pitch. Animation. And dry. Weren't expecting that, right? It's really cool how you can add intervals to the reverb, turn it into a delay. There's just all kinds of cool things you can do with Seismic Verb. Now let's use it to add punch and overtones to a synth. Turn it on. Now let's play around with it. and dry. And finally, check out the incredible results you can get by combining Seismic Pump with Seismic Verb. All right, let's go. And back to where we started. So yeah, it's ridiculous how much you can change the sound with these effects. All right, that's just an overview of what's in Seismic Shock. With thousands of options, there's so much more to check out. It's been an incredible journey making this thing, and I'm so excited to hear what you do with it.